What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel, and we're following up with the video that I did a couple days ago where I tried to matchmake the most exciting possible fight in each division. So I was trying to be like, let's match up two guys that are going to just go to war and have the funnest possible fight stylistically. No way it can be boring. And now we're doing the opposite. Now we're booking some snoozers. We're booking, the cure to insomnia in every division. And yeah, we're just booking some absolute sleeper fights, literally. So yeah, let's get into it. You guys let me know your picks in the comments if you agree with mine or not. But yeah, we'll start with the flyweight division. So for flyweight, I'm going with the two most boring guys in the division. Some people might say Pantoja is boring, but I think overall he's been more fun than Mikhaev and Amir Albazi. Like, this shit is putting people to sleep. And it's not even one of the cases where you could be like, oh, that's two wrestlers and the scrambles will be cool. Like, nah, this shit's gonna be dead. Neither of them are fun to watch at Strike. Albazi and Kai Kara-France was only fun at moments because Kai was whooping his ass, and at one point he almost got a sub. But, like, this shit would be so boring. Mostly because it's a Muhammad Mikhaev fight. And I was thinking you could go with really anyone. Like, you could just do Muhammad Mikhaev as someone with no takedown defense and have him just lay on top of people. But, like, this is going to be Mikhaev shooting takedowns, failing takedowns. Albazi might do some shit. I just think this would be awful to watch. And even if stuff was actually happening, it would still just be boring. Like, you wouldn't be engaged with the fight at all. Because neither of these two just do it. Mikhaev is incapable of damaging another human. Albazi can do some damage, but I don't know, he's just not that fun as well. So yeah, these two would produce an absolute sleeper. Literally. Let's move on though to the bantamweight division. Alright, for bantamweight, you guys might be like, what the fuck are you doing? Why is Chito Vera there? And the reason is because I'm not trying to book the two most consistently boring fighters on their own. I'm trying to book a fight that will end up being boring, and I guarantee you this would end up being so boring. Because Chito Vera has no takedown defense, and Merab is just going to take him down over and over again, do nothing with it, and it's going to be boring as fuck. Now, there's some other fights you could probably do, but bantamweight's pretty fun for the most part. So I was thinking, I'm like, you need a wrestler, and then you need someone that's just going to get taken down. Because there's no real, I don't think there's a fight you could do where, it would be boring on the feet. But this would be fucking AIDS to watch because Cheeto can't defend takedowns. He got ragdolled by Corey Sandhagen. So Merab is just going to, cardio rape this dude. And it's going to be terrible to watch. So, yeah, I hope the UFC never does this fight. But knowing the UFC, they're going to watch this video and be like, oh, this is a great idea. Let's book this shit for our pay-per-view co-main event. So, yeah, let's move on, though, to the featherweight division. All right, for featherweight, another similar scenario. You guys might be saying, why is Yair Rodriguez on my screen, even though he's one of the most exciting fighters in the sport? And the reason is because I consistently talk about Yair Rodriguez as someone with no takedown defense, because that's just the reality. And also, I consistently talk about why Brian Ortega is not that good for beating Yair. It's not an impressive win to beat Yair by grappling. It's not, really. Volk did it, and we were like, damn, that was a sick win by Volk. But Volk also rocked him on the feet. But, after that, it was kind of okay, do we really rate Ortega just having a chin and surviving, and then just taking advantage of Yair having no gas tank for some reason, and then gassing out and having no takedown defense? So, Yair Rodriguez can't defend takedowns to save his life, and, you know how you know how Arnold Allen was having a really fun fight with Movsar Evloev because he was able to actually stuff takedowns and Granby roll out and stuff? Yeah, Yair ain't doing shit. Yair's not doing none of that. Maybe I'm over-exaggerating. Maybe he would make it fun on the grounds. But, I feel like against Ortega, there was just nothing going on outside of round one. Yair would do well on the feet, so this wouldn't be, an absolute stinker of a fight. You could just do some fucking random bums that no one cares about, obviously. But I'm trying to do, top level, top guys, but that would match up terribly. This would be boring as hell, in my opinion, assuming that Yair somehow doesn't magically develop takedown defense. Movsar is going to ragdoll this little Mexican around the cage and not submit him because Movsar's reliant on his entire career going to a fucking unanimous decision. So yeah, this shit is going to the cards. I don't think Yair finishes him, and Yair just wouldn't be able to do enough off his back. He looked fun off his back against Emmett, but that was different. But apart from that, this guy off his back is shit. He throws some elbows and stuff. So maybe I'm over-exaggerating. Maybe this wouldn't be too boring, but I feel like this would be very quickly like evident what the fuck is going on. Like you'd be able to know extremely quickly, yeah, this shit's going to the cards. Guy is just gonna get fucking held down the whole time. Let's move on though to the lightweight division. Next up for lightweight, I've gone with Bobby Green and Mateusz Gamrot. And now this is a similar sort of situation with Merab, I guess, because Gamrot, he's just gonna spam takedowns. He's gonna not finish you. He's gonna not look to do anything. And this is just going to be a worse version of the Jalen Turner fight, in my opinion, because Bobby Green's got less finishing potential than Jalen Turner on the feet. And I feel like his takedown defense is equally as bad. Like, this guy doesn't stuff takedowns very well for the most part. Anytime I've seen someone try and wrestle him, he does get taken down a lot. And yeah, on the feet, I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. Gamrot's just like weirdly got decent defense, so Bobby Green's not going to tee off on him. And yeah, I feel like Gamrot's just going to grab a hold of this dude and just keep spamming takedowns and just do the Merab and then not do any damage and then just like control time his way to a decision win. This shit would be boring. Lightweight, it's a tough one because I know you might say this wouldn't be a boring fight. It probably wouldn't be terrible. But there's not many boring guys at lightweight. Like, what would you say would be a more boring fight than this in terms of ranked guys at 155? Like, what else would be just a stinky fight that's not already happened? Like, Gamrot versus RDA was horrible. But, like, we can't rebook a fight that we know's awful. Like, that's cheating. So, yeah, I think this would be terrible. I think it would match up horribly. And, yeah, it would look like a very similar version of the Jalen Turner fight, in my opinion. Gamrot, yeah, that's the thing with Gamrot. It's just Gamrot versus these strikers that don't have the best takedown defense. Yeah, it's just boring. And you're like, fucking hell. It's just frustrating to watch. You're like, bro, can you stop just spamming takedowns, please? Like, can we get some action? And then he just doesn't. But yeah, let's move on to the welterweight division. We are decision maxing to the highest order. If this was booked as a 25-minute, 5-round main event, literally bet your entire fucking ownership of property. Bet every bit of money you own on fight to go the distance. Because this is going to the cards and we're going to hear 49-46 Bilal Muhammad. Like, that's what this fucking fight is. This would be AIDS. Because both of these two just don't do damage. Like, they don't do damage. Neil Magny got a finish against Mike Malott. Bilal Muhammad got a finish against Sean Brady. But apart from that, who the fuck do these guys finish? We're going to see about a good 45% of this fight is going to take place in the clinch. It's going to be awful. The striking exchanges, you just will not be engaged in any way because it's just going to be like, bruh, nothing's happening. There's no damage being done. Leon Edwards versus Bilal is a good shout, but just because it's for a title fight, I feel like it wouldn't be that boring. And I actually have a feeling that fight might match up a bit better. But this shit would be AIDS because neither of these two try and do damage in their fights. And the way they would match up would be both of them are just trying to push like third gear clinch wrestling jabs and then clinch knees pace, and it would just be the worst thing you've ever seen in your life. So yeah, do not ever book this fight ever, unless you want the fans to go to sleep. We might need a sleep break though. That's a good thing to have on a card. Just, we talk about the piss breaks with women's MMA. Just the sleep breaks with the Bilal Muhammad fight is always appreciated. But let's move on though to another division. Middleweight division, Jack Hermansson versus Brendan Allen. You already know this shit would be boring as fuck. You just think Jack Hermansson and think boring. Even though he's not awfully, he's not terribly boring, but he's just not engaging at all. So it's one of those ones where you're not booing out of oh my god, can we do something? It's just you're just watching and there's no oh, good shot there. It's just you're watching the fight and you're this is a signed mixed martial arts competition that is taking place between two athletes. This is not a fight. This is a signed bout agreement where two martial artists are receiving payment for competing in a martial arts bout in an octagon. This is not a fight. It's a signed agreement to compete. It's not a fight. I've said that 4 times in a row. It's not a fight. But Brendan Allen, he gets some submissions and shit, but this dude just he's not engaging. The Chris Curtis fight was fun, but that's because Chris Curtis put it on him and tried to hit him a bit. But Hermansson's got fuck all power. He survived the vicious onslaught of Joe Salty Man Piper, and then he just came on late, and then that caused some bad things to happen, if you know, you know. But he's just not fun to watch, you know? Like, he just throws jabs. He's a crafty vet, as Lucas Tracy would say. But he just doesn't do anything interesting. He's just not engaging in the cage. He's got good enough defense to where, like, Allen wouldn't just run through him and make it entertaining. And this isn't Paul Craig, who's just going to be retarded and make it fun. But, like, this is just Allen, I don't know, he'd just try and grapple and it would just get, like, stifled a bit and then it would just be boring. So, yeah, this fight would not be fun. Middleweight, there's a couple things you could go, like, Adesanya versus someone would work. Like, if you went Adesanya versus Jack Hermansson would be awful. That's a good shout. Adesanya versus Jack Hermansson would be a 49-46 decision for Adesanya, because you already know he ain't finishing that fight. But yeah, it would be not fun. Let's move on though to the light heavyweight division. Next up for light heavyweight, this is another stylistic thing because Bogdan Gushkov is one of the most entertaining fighters on the roster. But if you put him against Magomed Ankalaev, that is the one guy who's going to be like, no, brother, I don't care about your exciting style, brother. I'm going to take you down and hold you there for 25 minutes. But like, Magomed Ankalaev would just wrestle fuck this dude. Span did it in round 1, but then gassed and got cooked up on the feet because Bogdan's a G. But Ankalaev is too inbred to stay on. Like, Bogdan's autistic, Ankalaev's inbred. There's a difference. Like, the autistic people are fun. The inbred people are just boring. Islam's both, which is why sometimes he's fun and then most of the time he's fun now, but in his earlier career he was boring because we didn't get to see the autism. Before it was just inbred, but now he's autistic, so now he's more fun. But Ankalaev's just inbred, so he would just be like, no, I am not interested in being exciting, and just take him down. If he stood on the feet, this shit would actually probably be pretty fun. Because anyone in a striking match with Bogdan's fun, because Bogdan's a G. But if this went to the ground, Ankalaev's just going to hold him there. Bogdan's probably going to do enough to not get subbed because Ankalaev doesn't have the best submissions, and this would not be fun. It would be lay and pray of the highest order for 25 or 15 minutes, however long the fight was agreed to. But yeah, this would be boring. Never book Bogdan against a wrestler. Only strikers, only people that are going to stand with him and get chinned. Let's move on though to the heavyweight division. Jailton Almeida versus Marcin Tybura is the choice for heavyweight. Now, heavyweight has a lot of fat fucks, so there's a lot of choice you could go with, and maybe this is inaccurate because Jailton Almeida might just sub Marcin Tybura. But Tybura's got like half decent grappling, so I feel like he could probably survive a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it would just be a quick submission. But heavyweight, there's a lot of choices. The Spivaks of the world, the Taburas of the world, the Waldo Cortez Acostas of the world. There's a lot of boring fucking fighters at heavyweight. A lot of these fat, obese men. Like Romanov versus Spivak or some shit. Like, that would be so bad. So yeah, there's a lot of choices for heavyweight. This is just the one I've gone with because Almeida's a bit more of a notable name. Spivak's actually booked to fight Tybura in a rematch. So yeah, I think the UFC that was part of the motivation to do this video. UFC's already getting started booking some absolute stinkers. That's probably going to main event an Apex card, God help us. But yeah, that's the video done, guys. I don't know, it's just a quick one today. I'm just trying to mass produce videos because I got some shit coming up for school and stuff, so I'm not going to have as much time to do videos, so I'm just like pre-recording a lot. So I don't know when this will come out, but whenever it is, hope everything has gone well with the UFC and stuff, and hopefully Tyra wins. I'm recording this before that fight. Hopefully Tyra wins. I have a bet on him by submission, and then hopefully the Saudi Arabia card ends up being good. So yeah. See ya. I don't know when I'll release this, but probably like tomorrow or day after, but maybe not. Anyway, bye.